Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to a brand new video over on the SoRare Road to Glory. So in today's episode, what we're going to do is cover the top 10 investments that I'm going to make today and then go and sell on Wednesday, Thursday ahead of the weekend deadline. As always, if you guys are interested in signing up to SoRare, there is a referral link down below. Once winning 5 cards on bid, you will receive a free tradable limited card. Don't overpay for the cards to win the free limited card because it's only worth about £2 to £7. On top of that, you do have to be 18 to play SoRare because it is real life money and that money is there to be lost as much as it is there to be made. Finally, if you guys are interested in watching this live, I do stream it daily on my Twitch from 6:30 every day. So all you're going to do is cover 10 investments I do plan on making today and then going and selling on Thursday just before the deadline to hopefully maximise profit. As always, we are going to be going into the Asian League, just the league I always use when it comes to investments. How I find the investments is we head over here, if you can see where my cursor is, to Scout, then we go to Player Rankings, literally here, and therefore it loads up something like this. And then what you do is you go to Asia, because I personally trade with the Asian players, and then I go through position 1 to 1. Now also in the last 15 games I actually set this to 2, that is because the Asian League has only just set up in the last 2 weeks, and as a result, 7 in the last 15 games could include last season, and obviously if someone didn't play last season but is playing this season, they might not pop up in this filter, so I just set it to 2, because that is what I'm content with. So we then go and select game week 258. Now the players I'm buying are not playing in game week 257. That means there's nothing during the week unless an injury or some report that comes out that will affect these guys' prices negatively. So one of the best things with doing the Asian SO5 is actually you can kind of rely on a lack of research, and what you can do is just what I call almost a Neanderthal way of buying, which is going me see good stat, me buy, rather than going, alright, yeah, all this research, all that. Basically I can use statistics over research, which, is a lot more convenient for myself. So what we're looking for when it does come to investing is we are looking for someone who has a really good L5. We're looking for someone that ideally has a decent percentage here. This means what they've started in the last 5. And on top of that, I'm looking for someone that's under £40. And yeah, is that too much to ask? Well, it's not really. So starting off here with Asia Defender, game week 258. We're going to go and press filter. And what that is it's going to give us the defenders. Now you can see on over here what the defenders are going for. £300, £394, £243, and then you get to my first investment, which is Yuki Seneto. Now, Yuki Seneto is not looking too bad. He's come off the patch and not playing, then pulled an 82, DNP, 69, and a 73. In that, he's had 1 decisive, and he's had a 47 all-round score and a 37 all-round score, which is just very, very impressive. He's also coming in at £12, really, really decent. If we look at some of his rises in previous weeks, the rises are going into the blue dots. You can see a nice rise there. We can see a nice, rise there. But we can see some decent rises going into the blue dots, and that's basically people buying before SO5. So really good on him. Really positive trends in previous weeks. Amazing stats, and you can see right here that he's, decent value for money. And he's also got one of the best L5 in all positions, L5 for Asian players. The only problem is he's only played 3 out of the last 5 games, but shouldn't be too bad. Which is Matiso Morshagi. I actually already have one of this guy. I managed to pick him up already for £20. We go look at his L5 again. He's played 4 of the last L5, 95 there, 64, 65. Did get a decisive in his last game. Got a 29, penultimate game. Got himself a 29 all-round in the game before that. Not looking bad. Got a decisive and a 35 in to put a 95 right there. So he's had some great scores. He's one of the more expensive cards, but again, we managed to get him for 20 quid right here. Going into Thursdays, he actually hasn't had amazing rises. I think that's because he DMP'd. Would have been that week he DMP'd? No, it would have been a few weeks before. His rises into the deadline haven't been amazing. It would have been like here to here. It's okay. Again, about here to here is okay, but there's, we're seeing pretty big gaps. And again, he would have had a good weekend here. So, yeah, his rises haven't been too amazing. Again, he's only 20 quid, which isn't too bad. But that is our second player. Now, the other players I believe we found via just sorting via L5. Indeed, we did. And we get to Young Suk Jung. This is the cheap player of the week. And, yeah, pretty decent. He hasn't had amazing rises, and I believe that's only because, yeah, he's been on a bit of a DMP run, but he's pulled a 75 in the last which means if people are sorting via L5, he should be decent. I believe we've got another player in that. Yep, we've got John Woon. Again, if we look at his SO5, pretty impressive. He's got an his L5 is 62. He's played every game. His rises, how have his rises been? Not been too bad going into the week. Obviously, he's been a bit all over the shop with international breaks. He's had a decent... no, his rises into the deadline haven't been overly amazing, if I'll be completely transparent. But yeah, there's another player we fancy. Then we got this guy. Then we've got this as our last guy here. Again, a 62 L5, decent scores, 75, 69, 50 and a 52. 4 of the last 5 games, which is decent. Hasn't pulled in any decisives, but a 40 all-round, which is looking pretty decent. Prices, they've not been too bad going into it. See a nice rise there. But I mean, that was international break, so that doesn't fully make sense. And yeah, again, once again, his rises haven't been amazing, but there's obviously, I think he's pulled in a pretty decent most recent score. Yeah, so his demand should be quite increased at the moment. So to do midfielders, we do the exact same thing. We go and just change it from defenders to midfielders, and then we look at 2 things. First off is this. Again, we look at the players, 55 quid, it's not that bad. 111, 41, 35 isn't too bad. Did he... No, he did play his most recent game, actually. Did he? No, DMP'd his most recent game. So one red flag, DMP in the most recent game. I don't really like it because, again, could be injury, could be rotation out of the squad. As long as it isn't any international based, which I don't believe that guy is. Yeah, I don't really fancy it. So we scroll down here and you can see we get from like 30s to 60 pounds. And we get to this guy, he's 20 quid. I've actually gone for this guy in previous weeks. Lucas Fernandez. We look at his L5, pulled a 76 in the most recent game. He's got a 100%, 100% playing in the last 5 games, which is decent. And yeah, for budget-wise, he is literally your best budget player under 20 quid as a Asian League SO5. Pulled a decisive last game, which is decent. Other than that, we're looking at some decent, and pulled a decisive a fair few games ago. So from midfield, pretty impressive. If we also go and sort of via L5, you're able to see he pops up. He doesn't pop up too amazing. He pops up around about, imagine, the top 15. And there you can see the rest of the players. So just above him, or sorry, just below him, we've got another one of the players, which is Tomo Kyoto. And we've got 2 other players right here. We've got almost our discard player, who's very cheap, and Adlington. So, Tomoyota, yeah, okay, it's Japanese league. And interestingly, he's actually not being resupplied. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I presume it's because he's maybe transferred or 101 other reasons. But we can see he's obviously playing the Japanese league via the scores right here. But decent L5, once again, coming in at 58. 77, 66, 31, 49 and 69, so looking pretty decent on him. In terms of his rises going into the weekend, I don't think I could spot it off the graph, I'll be completely honest with you, but it should be pretty decent. We got the Lucas Fernandez, obviously. Then we got the Hyun Seon Jong. I believe he's just played his last game. Yeah, so he didn't play 4 games prior to that, and then he's gone and played this game right here. Not getting a decisive, but an all-round. I'll be honest with you, his price is kind of a little bit too inflated for me to want to buy him at the moment. Yeah, he's coming in, well, he was £2 a week, but right now, and all day, the cheapest has been £5, so I don't really want him unless I'm getting for 3 quid. It's just one of them cheap cards that could do really well. Like previously, we saw a card go from £5 to £11. We then moved to Adlington. Not bad, got a 78, a 68, even pulled in a 62 as well. Obviously not part of his L5, but DMP'd right there. Starting every game at the moment, which is looking decent. Sadly, not an amazing game last time. In terms of going into the hype, I'll be honest with you, I think he just absolutely, yeah, I think he absolutely banged that. But that was just due to him having a good performance. But, yeah, the hypes, once again, the hypes going into the deadline haven't been amazing on him. But, I mean, we're coming off an international break and that weird sort of trend right there. So I hope that goes against. And I believe, yep, as the Asian midfielders go, that's all she wrote. Now underway with the forwards. And you can see right here, we've got £20. I believe this guy... Yeah, so the problem with this guy is he's playing international. And because he's playing international, the one thing I've avoided is that. Because if he goes... At the moment, his scores are on average of a 46, a 60, and a 78. Well, yeah, at the moment, you've got Korea versus UAE. Now, I don't believe he starts, which actually can work in his favour, because it will just replace one DMP with another. but his price might drop post deadline of midweek, or his price might drop with rewards. So kind of holding off him. I do think he looks good, but I just don't want to buy him until after the deadline, or maybe even after the game. Again, he doesn't start for career, so there's no worry on injury. There's no worry of him getting a low score. There's a chance, I guess, maybe they sub him on and then give him like a 30, which would, not be good for the average. But yeah, nice cheap card. Not looking to buy now, but maybe I'll buy mid-week. So we then scroll down there. He's 300 quid player, 146 quid player. And this is, in my opinion, probably one of the better investments. And that's or which I'll be going for, which is an An Young Woo. So the reason this guy is pretty decent is because he's come out of a DMP spell and he's got a 65, a 35 and a 68. On top of that, you can see he is, one of the best value for money. You look at the players around him, 400 quid, 20 quid, but again, he's a bit weird at the moment. 300 quid, 146 quid. That's the player we're looking at. 99 quid, 99 quid. This guy right here, I believe he's DMP'd the last few games. 21 quid there, which isn't actually too bad. But you can see he's just surrounded by expensive players, so he's, he's a bit of a rose amongst thorns in terms of looking good value for money. Forwards I've always found have done a little bit better than other positions. A lot of people captain the forwards, therefore vouch paying a little bit more. But yeah, the forwards have always worked pretty well for me. Do plan on getting as many as I can, because again, he's a player I'd quite like to stack up on. So we then move underway with the other forward, unless I only have one forward. Do we only have one forward? We very well might do. These are the list of all the defender, forward, midfielder, midfielder, defender, midfielder, midfielder. Yeah, as you can see, forwards are normally so expensive that I just don't have many on there, apart from the An Young Woo and the other player after he finishes his international break. So this is how they are. This is the 10 players. You can see there's a nice variety in prices in terms of like from £3 I've been getting this guy. We even go all the way up to, I guess, like £20, £30 amongst these two players here. But hopefully have a decent week. We are coming off the back of an international break, so hopefully people managed to pick up a few players already. Managed to get ourselves one of the Yuki Seneto and an A Young Woo, who are two players I'm quite excited for. But yeah, bear in mind we're going for 10 different players. We have already managed to secure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, which I'm quite excited for. I don't necessarily buy all of these players because I kind of just buy whoever I can get a good deal on. Some of these cards, like I was showing you with this guy even, he's gone from £2 to £5 already, and I don't really want to buy him at £5 because I'm, warranting quite a risk with the inflation. But these are the Asian players I'm going to be picking up this week. Hopefully they do well. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow with another trading video.